Okay guys, Gino from Gino's Model Trains. I want to welcome you back. This is going to be the community weathering project video. Apologize for the delay. I've been battling a bad case of bronchitis the past week or so, and I hope you'll be able to understand me a little bit. I'm still a little stuffed up, but I'll do the best I can. I chose the Walthers Woodchip Hopper for my project, and basically what I'm going to start out with is a wash to kind of dull down some of this paint. All it is acrylic paint, and you can see I've got some black already in the bucket here, and I'm going to mix it with some alcohol, just regular rubbing alcohol, and just mix up a little fade wash, get that all mixed in together. I'm just going to come back and just start brushing it on. And that's just going to take that shine off of it to begin with. You're just going to kind of want to get it on all parts of the car that's going to be seen. I really don't have a method to my madness. I'm just... That's not good. Brush some of the trucks too. I'm not going to worry too much about on the inside. I've got a load that's going to go on top. Like I said, you just kind of want to get that evenly on all over the car. That's just going to fade, and it's going to give it some, it's going to dull down that shine in it. This is just the beginning. So. For those of you that hadn't watched any of my videos before, I'm just real random. I don't really have a method to the madness. Alright, we're going to let that dry, and then we'll come back and start on the next step. Alright guys, it's been about 20 minutes and most of the alcohol is dried, but you can see how the fade wash has faded, and it just really gives it that just a grungy look, a lot of road grime. But what I'm going to start doing now is I'm going to start adding some rust to the sides of the cars. In later years, these cars really look like rust buckets when they were in service, and that's what we're going to try to do with this. What I've got is some acrylic paint. This is burnt umber and just some brown weathering chalk, and I'm going to start adding some rust to the car sides, and this is just a hard bristle brush, and I'm just going to dab it into the burnt umber, and you almost want to dry brush it. You don't really want a whole lot on the brush, but I'm just going to start making some little rust patches on the cars, on the side of the car. want a whole lot of paint on the brush when you're doing it. You just kind of while the paint's still wet, this is just a rather soft bristle brush. And I'm going to come back and get some powder on it. Just kind of dust over wet paint. And it's going to give that little rust look when it dries. So you just want to dab it over the wet paint that you put on there. And it's okay if you don't get it on everything, because you kind of want that look, you know, it's a different shades. I hope you can see that. Pretty simple to do. I mean, it's an easy technique to do. It's really kind of hard to mess it up. Powder on top of that paint is really going to make it rust stand out. Give it a little something to grab to. Truck too. And I'm just so when it comes to weathering, I'm just kind of real random. I really don't have a set way I do anything. Just kind of do it, eyeball it as I go. But you kind of see how that's looking. I'm gonna let that set for a little bit and let that paint dry, and then I'll be right back. Alright guys, back with you now. I'll turn my big lights on too. Here, hopefully you can see that a little bit better. But you can see how that's fading out pretty good. I'm gonna see what I'm gonna do next. I've got just a regular toothpick. I'm gonna start rusting out a little bit of these letters. I'm just gonna rub this end of this toothpick on across this file, get a little flat tip to it. Just 3 or 4 times is usually good. And I'm gonna dip it in my burnt umber. And what I'm gonna do is just kind of go over some of this lettering. Get it real heavy, you just want to, where you kind of roll the outline of some of these letters. I noticed in a lot of the older pictures that I've seen of these cars, and I'll post one too, that the letters have rusted out, the paint on the letters, and that's what we're just trying to replicate here. So you ain't got to be perfect with it. You just want to kind of get it. Powders, dab over it. The paint's still wet, so it'll grab on to it. Dry a little bit. Brush again. You can see how I'm loading that chalk up there on it while it paint's wet. Just Just let it set for a little bit. Blow the excess off. Come back with your hard brush. Brush some of it down. That's the kind of look what you get. Now we'll do the same thing to the other side, and I'll be right back. Alright guys, got the other side done. Same process as I did the first side with. And I went ahead and did the car ends as well. But you can see how that turned out. And what I'm going to do now is just step outside and spray it with some dull coat, and then we'll come back and touch it up. Oh, and I did too, I replaced the plastic wheels with some metal wheels that I have, and I'll show you what I do. This is not related to the weather video, but as soon as I get my wheels, my metal wheels, I'll order them in bulk, and then I'll go ahead and paint them and just put them in my little storage bin. That way they're ready to go when I get ready for them. A little weathering tip for you. I'm going to go out and spray this with some dull coat, and I'll be right back. Alright guys, we're back. I just got back from spraying this with dull coat, and the only other thing I'm going to do is while the dull coat is still a little tacky, I'm just going to highlight just a little bit of this rust with some powder in a few spots. Not much, just a little bit. Kind of give it a little variation of color. Alright guys, that's going to do it for that. I'm going to let that dry, and then I'll come back and show the final pictures.